What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. Thanks for rocking with me on another video. As you can see, finally got the hood up, and we're gonna extract the 20R because we got a new motor. Well, new to me. Runs good. It's a 22R instead of that punk ass 20. I should have started this video yesterday, but I just kind of hit the ground running when I got home from work and got a bunch of shit disconnected and taken off and stuff. So let's get you down, and I'll take you over there and show you everything I have done and everything I have left to do. So this is what's going to go in it. Not sure the year of the motor. I'm sure I could probably dig through some of my books. I've got all this information on like the block and the deck height and all that stupid shit to determine what year the block is, but honestly I just don't care enough. It's got low range bomb-proof motor mounts on it. It's got a Weber carb on it. I don't know which carb it is. The kid I bought it from didn't know, and the kid he bought it from didn't tell him. So I know the motor came out of Nevada. It was running the day it was pulled. The guy pulled it because he's parting the truck out and is going to a diesel in his new build. Also has an RE exhaust manifold on it, which, if I remember right, is the ports are a little bit bigger. But again, not 100% sure. I'm going to have to get into my books to remember all this shit. All the bearings are good. All the seals are decent. Didn't have any serious leaks. Didn't burn anything. Once I get it in the truck, I do plan on pulling the valve cover off and checking for single row or double row metal slides, plastic slides, all that good stuff. And then that'll pretty much be it. Back under the hood here, I've already got the radiator drained and out. I've got the power steering pump and idler assembly and everything just unbolted and laid over to the side right there, so I don't have to bleed the system or pull the lines or any of that stupid stuff. Throttle cables, everything's already off. The coil has been taken off the fender and just rolled over onto top of the engine because the 22, the new motor, came with a coil and it's newer, so it fires better if I remember right. Let's see, everything on this side has been taken off. Oil pressure sending unit. This is my temperature, my water temp sensor. Starter's already out. The only thing we have left to do here is the motor mount bolts on both sides and in the back. Let's see. Yeah, we can't see them. Anyway, I only have 4 bolts, 4 bell housing bolts on the back of this motor. So we have 4 bell housing bolts, 4 motor mount bolts, and she should be ready to come out. So, all right, it's time for an update. Got the motor mount bolts all taken out. You can see right there, bell housing bolts are out. We've got a strap across the bell housing to hope the transmission don't fall out when I pull the motor. This thing's ready to go. As you can see, it's up. Get it out of there. Up the jams. Again, to get clear. Look at all this extra room in here for activities. Now I need to pull the flywheel and the clutch off of this motor, put it on the other motor, and put this one in storage. As you can see, this clutch is basically brand new. I put it in the truck and I put about 40 miles on it. Still basically brand new. Flywheel though, it'll work. It's meant. I mean, I don't even haven't even put enough miles on this clutch yet to wear the name stamp off of it. But that's all going to change when I put this better motor in there. Okay, let's get the backing plate, the flywheel, and the clutch put on this motor. See, this thing fits there, just like that. There's supposed to be another dowel pin up here. I'll get it out of the other motor if I can. And these two just 12mm bolts here. And I'm sure these have a torque spec, but I'm not going to look in this book to find them because it's not that big of a deal to me. Yep. That's torqued. Wow. I was unsuccessful in my attempt to get the dowel pin out of the other motor, but it's not that big of a deal. A little noisy. It's an original Toyota flywheel, not a repop. Let's get on there. I think that's lined up, but let's find out before we go, you know, too hard on pressing all these bolts all the way in. There she blows. Maybe. Now they do recommend Loctite for these bolts, but I'm not going to do it because this motor doesn't make enough power or torque to rattle the torque specs loose. Now the book torque spec on these bolts is 79 to 86, I believe. So we're going to go to about 84, 85-ish. $85. Well, I'm gonna have to get a pry bar. To be continued. See if it works better this way, huh? Oops. There's one. Two. Three. Four. Five. Last but not least, right there. Okay. Now, let's get the clutch put on, huh? Pay attention when you put these things in. It's got a bunch of writing on them. That's the important side to pay attention to.
use your alignment tool, stick it on there. Your pressure plate. And these things are usually pretty particular about how they line up. So just be careful, because it's very easy to screw this up. And then, you know, you end up like me, fighting the damn thing for half the afternoon before you figured out that you put it together the wrong way. I don't recommend using your impact to run those bolts in. I just wanted to run the majority of them in. These you're supposed to just hand tighten. Also, make sure your key freely slides in and out of here as you're tightening these bolts up, because as somebody who's done it, trust me, it is incredibly irritating. You get the motor all put in, get your, go to start lining everything up, and you can't get your clutch to spline in because you didn't check make sure your key will slide in and out freely. And you have to take it all back apart just to get your key back in. And it's not that much work having to take it back apart, because you don't actually have to pull the motor completely back out. You just got to take it loose and open it up just far enough to get your hands up in there. Then you can rotate the motor over by hand and get these bolts loose, get your tool up in there. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but if you take the preventative measures before it becomes that situation, it's a lot easier to deal with. Okay, still slides in there freely. Now these ones are supposed to be 14 pound-feet. So that's part of the reason I bought this torque wrench, is because it goes clear down to 10, up to like 220 or something. 240 I think is what it is. So we'll take it all the way down to 14. You do a diagonal pattern. See, there's 14 right there. Ooh, buddy. By the way, if you use a Sawzall to get your exhaust out, be careful. Just slice the shit out of my finger. See how easy that thing slides in and out of there? Now you know, it's going to spline right up in there. But now, we're on hold because I got to run to the store and get some more oven cleaner and degrease the entire engine bay and firewall. So I'll take you up there and show you. So here's what I mean when I say I gotta degrease this stuff. I mean, this isn't too bad. This is mostly just dirt and shit, but down here, it had a leaking power steering pump at some point, and before I bought it, and it was just catching the belts and kind of just slinging everywhere. I mean, it's on top of the axle, it's in the leaf springs, it's everywhere. And since I have... Okay, so everything you can see here is coated in oven cleaner. Let's see how she works. Yeah, it did pretty alright. Now you just gotta do everything else. Okay, so there's still a little bit of grease in here, but man, it is about 85% better. And like here and stuff, I'll just come through a little scrape action, but I'm 100% content with the way that turned out. Would recommend letting it sit a little longer. I only let mine sit about 5 minutes. If you got thick grease caked on stuff, you're either gonna have to let it sit for a while, hit it with 2 coats, or spray it off, let it dry, and do it again. But it's a cheap, easy degreaser that works fairly well. It's on the hoist. Now that the engine bay's clean, it's time to take it up. Go, and a short time to get there. Good so far. Well, it's sitting in the cradle. It's off a little bit, as you can see, but hell, even looking at it from up here, you can see that it's off a little bit. But I still need to change this motor mount and a couple other small little things. But damn, I'm trying to get you a good look. We're pretty close. Okay, we're back. Belly full of pizza, recharged ish. Let's get to it. Well, finally got her in, bud. It was fun. We had to, I couldn't get it to mate all the way together right there because the splines in the clutch and the input shaft on the transmission weren't completely right. And I just kept slamming it in there, and finally I just had to slide it all the way back out, start all over again. But motor mounts are in, all the bell housing bolts are tight. And the lights are on. So I'm exhausted. I'm gonna, sorry for the shaky camera. I'm gonna call it a night. Come out tomorrow after work, and I'll put the fan on, put the starter in, hook up the fuel lines, put the radiator in, put the power steering fluid back in, or sorry, power steering pump back in, and I'll probably give it a fire tomorrow. But for now, I'll wrap this video up right here. Thanks for watching, guys, and remember, your dreams don't work unless you do.